I'm still caught up on this Instagram post that I saw, and something that didn't feel right, even though my logical mind was like, everything that I'm reading is valid. There's no like clear reason why I was resistant to it or feeling subtle sensation of not complete agreement. And as I'm doing yoga, I realized that I think that there's a issue I have as far as the expert, like she used the term expert, refer to experts, and like what makes someone an expert over another other than having a degree that is founded by specific people in power, supporting and approving of the literature that is included in the curriculum that you obtain that degree with. So it's not pure in my eyes. The learning and the status is controlled by certain people who have more privilege and resources as far as funding and making that shit happen. And there's misuse in power, and there has been in our culture and our society for quite some time. And we're in a position now where it feels like we're starting to evaluate what's working and what's not working. And so there's something that I'm thinking of right now is, instead of leave it to the experts to guide people, and everyone else has no voice and shouldn't be respected, or has no value and they're not trustworthy, they're not capable of providing care or solutions to people. Instead of that, I feel like that's a product of our culture, of the relationship that we primarily engage in is like a teacher-student or an expert and I can't figure out what the other word is, the opposite of the expert, but like a blind follower, perhaps. And I'd like to get more equality on that. It's something that I'm passionate about in healthcare. And as a bigger perspective, like trying to get away from capitalism and the way in which we structure our day and how we work as a community collectively. Like, wouldn't it be great, and this isn't a perfect thought out plan, but I do think that there's something in it. But if I know, this isn't true, but if I know in my heart that I'm meant to be a yoga teacher and I'm in my power, I'm really good at it, it flows naturally, it's an intuitive gift of mine, it's something that I possess specific qualities that makes me a good yoga teacher, not just because I got the training and I studied it. There are certain qualities that are inherent to me that make me a great yoga teacher, and I know that, and others find value from my service. And that's my truth. And then someone else is really gifted at herbs. They are really knowledgeable on how to use herbs, and they have an intuitive aspect as well as the study and the devotion of catching themselves and learning from their mistakes and risks and benefits and contraindications, and their innate character and their strengths as an individual support being in a consulting type of role where they provide education and information around making choices around which herbs are supportive for certain symptoms or conditions, or just what this individual client may need. And so instead of the herbalist getting paid fee for service, they are that's their role in society, and they show up to complete that task when it is needed, and exchanging service for service, and each individual has their service. And so you own that role, and it's your work, but you don't have to like clock in and out, and people come to you, they know what you do, and they use you for what you're in need of, and you have your own structure as far as how many hours you can devote to it and what needs you need to get met on your own to show up in that role, so that you're not inundated if a bunch of people come to you and need your service. Because there needs to be some regulation, I suppose, and I guess that's where it all comes down to, and why we do things the way we do, because we need regulation to ensure fairness, and that people aren't going to abuse the freedom of not having to abide by certain rules. But I think there could be rules and regulations in place with this model. Like, you are required to complete 40 hours per week of this service, whether it is study or serving clients. And yeah, but then, like, what if you just study all the time and don't try and get clients? It's not perfect, but I think that that's something that turned me off, is the expert, how we deem someone an expert, and the fact that some people with titles aren't necessarily as qualified as others without those same titles in providing the service that they're providing. And there's more than just science and facts and titles regarding care and the ability to provide care.